Creatine was a novel game changer, almost a secret weapon in my surgical preparation recovery protocol for over a decade, but that has changed. And the thing that has changed about it is it's not a secret anymore. Kind of funny. I used to see maybe 10% of my patients in total that were taking creatine preoperatively, and now it's flip-flopped. It's probably 90% of people taking it, and this makes sense. I've had really great results with creatine over the years in a lot of different ways. It does all the things that we want. It helps with all the things that we want to happen post-operatively, from our brain to our body to even how our skin, fat pads, and soft tissues heal. Creatine is upregulating our body's ability to make ATP, which is the metabolic energy currency of our body. It has always been focused in the muscles, the ability to increase phosphocreatine and make more energy in a working muscle. So when you lifted, you could work more and you got bigger muscles. That's what it's always been thought of. And more recently, we've seen the transition into understanding, well, it's really prevalent in brain tissue as well. And we get better cognitive function when we're on creatine. This has also changed with how things look in our skin and our soft tissue, fat pads, when we're healing from something like a surgery or a laser or whatever that may be. And so when we really break it down, all of my message about post-operative cognitive dysfunction after anesthesia, creatine is very well studied in the anesthesia world, knowing that there is less post-operative cognitive dysfunction, which tends to happen in older, frail patients. There's less delirium after surgery. Patients wake up from their anesthesia faster. Now pair that with the fact that I'm doing a very neuroprotective anesthesia protocol in the first place, and we are doing much better with our neuroprotection by adding creatine to this overall mix of something that's already very gentle. As a fun fact, people with a higher muscle mass tend to have less post-operative cognitive issues anyway, less delirium, which transitions well into the idea that your muscle mass is a metabolic currency. That's not an original thought for me. That's been very well defined and elucidated. And creatine, which I start in the pre-operative period for my patients, we want to get things saturated leading in. There's multiple ways to do that. Even with just like 4 or 5 days, I can get somebody in a good spot. Or if we have like 2 weeks leading in, even better. We can get to those saturated levels easier. But my patients, maybe this is a little bit of a selection bias by the people that choose me, that are interested in their health, their wellness, and their longevity, the downtime after surgery of not lifting is challenging in maintaining that metabolic currency, your muscle mass. We know that taking creatine helps you reduce the loss of your muscle mass in the post-operative period alone, even without doing anything, just by itself. But then also when we do start retraining, we are better. We build that muscle mass back faster. So it truly does serve as a metabolic currency, because having that elevated muscle mass also helps your wound healing. And this gets into the sort of latest frontier of creatine research, if we will, looking at how creatine helps our skin and our soft tissue healing. So we went from all about muscle to about muscle and brain, and now we're about muscle, brain, and soft tissue like skin healing, which makes sense because we are not just increasing our ability to create ATP in the muscle or in the brain, it's also happening in things like fibroblasts, which are helping our skin heal and create more collagen and elastin, very importantly elastin, after something like a laser or a surgery or a skin injury. So now we have benefits to how that soft tissue is healing that way as well. There's a lot of emerging research in here. There's even research just on no interventions at all, just looking at skin after damage, something like UV damage, and how it does better when there's creatine involved in that healing process. So it's been funny for me, the evolution over the years of how I have seen this change, how I've seen these things come in, but everything kind of goes to my core principles and my roots of the things that I'm very interested in anyway. Creatine's by no means a magic bullet. It needs to be paired with good nutrition and all of the other pre and post-operative recovery strategies that we're going to use, whether they're modalities or supplements, but it clearly is a very important one in that overall, and it's more than just about muscle. And so I'll admit that in my patient population over these 10 years, I've learned a ton about the benefits of it. I knew it was doing something from a cognitive standpoint. Even years ago, I knew it was doing something from a cognitive standpoint for my patients when they were healing, because they were doing better, but it gets mixed with all these factors because the patients that were really interested in creatine in the first place tended to be more muscle focused. And so you get all of these overlapping, confounding variables going in. But now flash forward that decade and we look at it, we can break it down. We know that there is very good, just a really strong review of creatine's interaction with anesthesia this calendar year. Really, really strong data there. We know creatine's interaction with muscle. We've had that, I used creatine when I was a football player in high school to increase my muscle mass, which gets into the safety data behind it that's really strong. And now this more emerging evidence about how it's affecting skin healing and soft tissue. And worth a note is that creatine is a very, very safe, one of maybe the most highly researched supplement that we have have when we get into what its function is and the categories that it's in. And so we want to make sure that we're appropriately hydrated. We have good kidney function. That's always been the concern with it, which may not be as big a concern as it had been laid out over time, which is probably a little bit beyond the scope of this particular post. But I have all my patients' laboratory data before we're initiating these things. It's just part of their overall surgical regimen. And we know the safety behind creatine, basically, and what we can do when you're with us in periods of maybe dehydration, where we're using IV hydration before, during, and after surgery, especially, that can offset some of those things. So it blends in really well with a robust pre and post-operative recovery strategy, or pre-covery strategy, I like to call it, getting you ready for surgery. It does it on multiple levels in your brain, does it in your muscle, your metabolic currency, it does it in your skin. It makes your wound healing better, it makes your anesthesia recovery better, it does all of these beautiful things, and it's been a really interesting transition. I would say even over the last just like 18 months, where that ratio really flipped from it being a relatively rare preoperative supplement that I was putting people on, and a lot of them maintained it afterwards. They would go through their surgical recovery and they would stay on creatine, even though it was relatively new to them overall. And in this last 18 months, how it's rare now that I find one of my patients, again, this could just be a selection bias by patients that are choosing me, but it's rare that I find somebody now who is not on creatine leading into their surgery. So we're just optimizing the dosage and the regimen and the timing around that creatine, starting days to preferably weeks before and continuing for weeks to months afterwards. It little just depends on the type of procedure that we're doing, how we customize that use of it. We also want to have really great creatine sources. So my patients, I'm giving it to you, and so we're providing you with that, but that's an important consideration as well. So super great question, very hot, fun topic to talk about, and I'm excited to have been part of the evolution of this in my world of surgical recovery or facial plastic surgery recovery, specifically over this decade, of how it's become such an integral and really cool tool.